The tragic history of Cambodia in the latter half of the 20th century is inextricably linked to the rise of the Khmer Rouge, a radical communist movement that emerged from the crucible of regional conflict and foreign intervention. The secret and illegal bombing of neutral Cambodia authorized by United States President Richard Nixon and his national security advisor Henry Kissinger beginning in 1969 intended to disrupt North Vietnamese supply lines. The campaign instead created widespread chaos and resentment, fostering an environment ripe for insurgency, and was a pivotal event that catastrophically destabilized Cambodia. The question is, when did Cambodian leader Hun Sen join the Khmer Rouge remains a subject of historical and political sensitivity. Hun Sen, a one-time Khmer Rouge guerrilla who later fled to Vietnam to escape the regime's internal purge, while there is some evidence that he may have been involved in some capacity prior to then. The official narrative aligns with his stated opposition to the post-Sihanouk Republic, a politically crucial distinction in Cambodian history. Prince Norodom Sihanouk was overthrown in a military coup in 1970, an event that pushed many, including a young Hun Sen, into the ranks of the communist resistance. Hun Sen himself claims he joined the communist insurgency only after Prince Norodom Sihanouk was overthrown in a 1970 coup and issued a call for Cambodians to rise up. Hun Sen, a one-time Khmer Rouge guerrilla who have killed thousands of his own people, the genocide. He would eventually flee to Vietnam to escape the regime's bloody internal purge before returning with Hanoi's backing to lead a new government. The Khmer Rouge, led by the Paris-educated Salos Sar, better known as Pol Pot, capitalized on the chaos, promoting a uniquely brutal and extreme ideology that blended Marxism, Maoism, and a xenophobic Khmer nationalism to ultimately seize control of the country. On April 17, 1975, the Khmer Rouge's young, black-clad soldiers marched into the capital, Phnom Penh, initiating one of the most horrific genocides in human history. This marked the beginning of Year Zero, Pol Pot's fanatical attempts to completely erase Cambodia's past and forcibly transform the nation into a purely agrarian, classless society. The regime immediately emptied the cities, forcing millions of urban dwellers on death march into the countryside to work as slave laborers in vast collective farms. Religion, money, education, and family ties were abolished. Intellectuals, professionals, ethnic minorities, and anyone considered an enemy of the state were systematically targeted for extermination. In just 3 years, 8 months, and 20 days, an estimated 2 million people, nearly a quarter of the entire population, perished from execution, starvation, disease, and overwork. The country was turned into a vast network of killing field, with infamous sites like Chung Ek becoming symbols of the regime's barbarity. At the heart of this terror apparatus was the S-21 school slang prison in Phnom Penh, a former school transformed into a torture center where an estimated 20,000 people were processed before being sent to their death. Chang Mei, one of only 7 known adult survivors, later recounted the unspeakable horrors he witnessed, a testament to the regime's absolute dehumanization of its own people in a process so self-destructive it would later be termed auto-genocide. The Khmer Rouge's reign of terror ended in January 1979 when the Vietnamese army invaded and overthrew the regime, exposing the full scale of the atrocity to a shocked world. In the years that followed, the new government, with Hun Sen installed as a key leader, began the grim task of rebuilding a shattered nation and uncovering the tens of thousands of mass graves left behind. Pol Pot, however, escaped justice, living for years along the Thai-Cambodian border. In his first interview in nearly 2 decades, conducted shortly before his death, he denied responsibility for the genocide, admitting only to mistakes and claiming his conscience was clear. This denial was met with outrage and disgust by Cambodians. Hun Sen vehemently rejected the claims, challenging journalists to ask the people who they believed was responsible for the killing field. The sentiment was echoed by ordinary citizens, like one survivor who, upon seeing the news, stated Pol Pot didn't kill them, himself, but he ordered his men to do it. Another recounted how his own family was killed by the regime in 1975, a painful personal refutation of the dictator's attempt to rewrite history. Cambodia is cursed. Hun Sen, from a Khmer Rouge leader killing millions of his own Khmer people, now rule Cambodia as a prime minister for over 40 years, not caring about his own people and deleting any of his opponents who wants to take his throne during election years, and imprison anyone who talks bad about how he ruled Cambodia. And the deep collective trauma of the genocide remains an indelible scars on Cambodia, a haunting legacy of unchecked ideological extremism. The question is, when will Cambodia stop being cursed? Meanwhile, in a different hemisphere, the United States is quietly rebuilding its Cold War-era military presence in the Caribbean, creating new tensions just 500 miles from Venezuela. Satellite imagery has revealed significant construction at the previously abandoned Roosevelt Roads naval base in Puerto Rico, including resurfaced runways, new radar systems, and mobile air traffic towers now prepared for fighter jets and troop transport. This buildup coincides with increased patrols by U.S. warship bombers and surveillance aircraft near Venezuelan waters. The Pentagon insists these movements are part of a counter-narcotic mission targeting state-enabled narco-trafficking. However, defense analysts warn that the scale and nature of the preparation, including the deployment of the USS Iwo Jima with 1,600 Marines and the USS Gravely Destroyer, resemble preparations for potential precision strikes or intervention against the regime of Nicolas Maduro. President Donald Trump has delivered mixed message on the possibility of U.S. military actions in Venezuela, publicly downplaying talk of war while simultaneously issuing a stark warning that President Maduro's days are numbered. His remarks have created a climate of uncertainty as the military posture escalates. Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino has accused the U.S. of imperialist aggression and urged national unity. The situation is further complicated by the open backing of Maduro by China and Russia, which framed the Caribbean standoff as a global power struggle capable of reshaping Latin America's balance of power. While the Trump administration carries out strikes on vessels in the region under counter-narcotics operations, UN officials and legal experts have argued that such action violates both U.S. and international law, highlighting the complex and volatile intersections of military power, diplomacy, and historical precedent in current global conflicts. If you haven't made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. Considering the historical precedent where U.S. intervention in Cambodia inadvertently fueled the rise of the Khmer Rouge that led to the former Khmer Rouge Hun Sen, who have killed millions of his own people, now ruling Cambodia as prime minister, killing anyone that dares to dethrone him. Is Cambodia cursed to have the Hun Sen family to forever rule Cambodia? And why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.